Welcome to Crosstalk after fall break. And this episode will be releasing on Halloween morning. So, depending on when you went to get your treats, if you went to treats at the tower, you will have a bellyache as you're watching this morning, or afternoon, or evening, or whenever you decide to watch it. But it would not be fitting if we did not have a fall-themed joke of the day.
Okay.
Coby, how do you fix a flat pumpkin?
I don't know.
With a patch. Pumpkin patch.
Okay.
Anyway. Well,
I had a joke too.
got another joke. Perfect pose.
I actually don't know if this is appropriate. We might cut this.
Okay, that's fine.
You tell me.
Do that. Anyway, so we had fall break last week, and what were some things that you did, I guess, with your long weekend?
What did I do for fall break? Well, that's a deep subject.
You ran and hid.
Yeah, I ran and hid. Spent some time with Bellamy. Went to the Colts game. Oh, speaking of which.
Now you've got your proper attire on.
Now I have my proper attire on.
The 7-1 Indianapolis Colts.
Best team in the league right now.
Best team in the league right now.
The chain stays on for the podcast.
I'm good with it. And the Colts should be happy that we're doing free advertising for them.
Yes.
So, yeah, and that was a bit of a blowout, wasn't it? Wasn't it like 38-6 or something?
38-14.
Okay.
We got off to a decent start and we kind of slowed down and then we kind of picked it back up in the second half. And then we started putting in backups and third stringers towards the end. Gave up another touchdown with 2 or 3 minutes left. But
the game was well over and decided by then.
Yes, yeah.
For
sure.
That's really exciting. I guess the Carly Ursay Gordon clipboard stuff it's got some real meat to it.
Yeah. So for people who aren't big NFL fans, but are more like high school football fans, I feel like, and now I've not seen any games for South Adams, but I get the feeling that South Adams and the Indianapolis Colts have a lot in common this season. You know, losing the South Adams football player at the beginning of their season,
right,
and losing Jim Irsay back in the late spring, early summer. I feel like both of these teams are playing for something bigger than themselves. They're playing for their friend, for their owner, you know, whatever. Yeah.
There's a lot of purpose behind every snap, right?
South Adams is, they blew out my alma mater, Madison Grant, on Friday night, and it was ugly. I saw the score. It was bad. It was very bad.
Good. That's wonderful, because forget Madison Grant. This is South Adams country.
But I think about half of the people here would say this is Adams Central country.
Not half. We've got a couple AC people in this. But you know what? No matter what your high school sport affiliation is, we are all one under the body of Christ. So we can deal with these differences with a lot of joy.
We're also one under the IHSAA.
Yeah. Yes, we are.
ISA.
The ISA. I came from the OSA.
OSHA? I'm just being stupid.
OHSAA. OSA. Yeah. And unless you're dyslexic, then it's OSHA. Don't make any violations. Anyway, my break was really cool. I got to go down and see my family, and then they followed me back out here to finish up some construction stuff on. Coby and I are still having to sell houses in another town, but we moved here, so we're happy to be here.
Hey, I'm getting countertops today, all right?
Yeah, all right. We love this, so we can get our homes marketed and gone and as part of the past, and we don't have to go to Huntington again for unless we really want to for some purpose.
But of course, they're building a Culver's in Huntington. They announced over the weekend after we're selling our homes.
Yes.
Abby is a diehard Culver's fan. So if you love Abby, you should give her a Culver's gift card for Christmas.
Right. You almost need a gift card to afford Culver's. They're proud of their cheese curds, man.
They are.
My goodness.
And that custard.
Yes.
Abby was the queen of custard for a couple years. She used to decide and pick out and make the special custards of the day.
Wow.
Yes.
So she's a true custard connoisseur.
Yes.
Wow. That's awesome.
Ask her about it sometime.
I sure will. So, as far as life of the church stuff goes, we had a really cool movie night on Sunday with Dr. Mark Fairchild. We had the screening of the Last Apostle documentary on all of the archaeological work he did in Turkey. He did a questions and answers with us afterwards, and it was just a really, really neat time for people who don't see and understand a whole lot of the biblical world. I really encourage you to look at resources like the Last Apostle film, if you want to drop a graphic for that or something in this video at some point. Because
whoosh,
you're reading words on a page in the Bible that are inspired, that are powerful, and have meaning, certainly. But I would say that meaning takes depth and root when you see the world in which they were in. I remember vividly when it had been a long day. We were on, I think, somewhere in the desert on the Jordan side of the desert, pretty close to Israel on our biblical study tour. And Dr. Fairchild and I were just a few who got off the bus because some of the older people on the trip were tired from walking. And you're walking out the middle of the desert to go over to what is called Elijah's Hill, which for, at least a couple 3,000, or it wouldn't be 3,000, but a couple thousand years, is traditionally believed to be where Elijah ascended into heaven.
Okay.
In the middle of this desert. It's been commemorated, monumented, all of that. And I was talking with Dr. Fairchild and told him how interesting it is to see what we read in person. He said, yeah, they're not just words on a page anymore. They come up off the page. And I would say that in the world of biblical archaeology and stuff like that, it's just good for any Christian to take a deep dive into that stuff. And that was really fun. And following a big thing like that, we have something else coming up that's not so much archaeological, but hogological. Coby, what do we have coming?
We have Hamsgiving.
Hamsgiving. So, for all of you pork-loving Hoosier people out there, your job is to bring a dish that contains a pork product. Bacon grease counts. If that's your pork product, it is fat that is shed from the pig into a grease thing that is just delectable and wonderful to cook things with. We will count it. You bring a side dish that has a pork product in it, we will provide the hams. And then we will have a giving of said hams to everybody to try as a church dinner. And it's going to be really fun. Did it last year. It was very neat. So who do you think will bring a unique dish? Do you have any people in mind who you're thinking, man, that person could come up with something crazy?
I'm going to go on a limb here. And I think... I had it and then I forgot. Let's see here. Who's going to bring something unique? Jessie Miller.
That's a possible one. I can't remember what she brought last year. I think Greg Mosier is on a short list for me because he gets really, really creative with a bunch of his stuff. The one that I ridiculed and then I read the ingredients for. Ardina brought like a pie with Jell-O and strawberries on top of it. And I was giving her a hard time that it didn't have a pork product. There was something in the gelatin that came from a pig.
Yeah, so I don't remember exactly what it is, but more or less almost all gelatin is collagen based, and they derive the collagen from the bones of
pigs and cattle
and stuff.
Yeah, cool. So that was just interesting. I am saying on, recorded out there for the world to see record, I was wrong. And one of my dear elders before me was correct, and
I think
I'm
we
willing to
need
eat.
to set up this out in the parking lot and let Deanie like pie you in the face live.
I'm sure she would probably be willing to do that. Between her and Sue, well, Sue actually did pie me in the face
Sure.
at the fall festival, and she seemed to be pretty excited to do it. I said make sure that she got a recording of it so Lee could enjoy it,
Sure.
on loop as he needed to. So yeah, we've got some exciting stuff coming up. Youth for Christ has their banquet coming up for any of you who are in Bern and supporters of that. I think that's the 17th.
And keep your eyes peeled. One or both of them may appear on this podcast
Yes,
soon. Fingers
We
crossed.
hope to feature Lee and Liz. Yes. They are a treasure and a gift to our community, and we're very thankful for them. So what else do we have going on in the life of the church right now?
Got the safety meeting coming up.
Yes. Yep. Safety, policy, procedures, all of the things to keep us safe and well. And we also have, really exciting thing, the children's area is almost done.
Getting closer.
It's getting a lot closer. Like the construction piece of it is getting a lot less now than it
Yes.
was
Yeah. Yep.
2 weeks ago.
Karen has started priming or is wrapping up priming
Yep.
the new drywall sections. The doors are off.
Yep.
The doors are going to get scraped and sanded and scuffed and then painted.
Yeah.
The doors go back up. We need to paint. Well, Doug needs to come back and put the trim up, and then we can paint.
Yep.
The doors will get painted soon. And then the trim along the floor, so the floorboard trim or
Right.
whatever, that
Yeah,
needs
he'll
to
have to come back and
that has
finish
to come
that.
back. But we're like, we're getting close.
We're about 85% there, maybe
Yeah.
more. It's
Although Kenrick did say yesterday, I hope nothing else gets added because we're almost done. But I have a hunch that somehow, some way, we're going to add something else to this project.
well, you want to have it done when you're done, I suppose. But it's been exciting.
Yeah.
We're doing stuff. We're trying to take care of things, spruce up things. It's been a lot of fun, and thank you to anybody who has helped in any amount of capacity for all of that, and give Karen and Kenrick your thanks, as they've just brunted hours upon hours upon hours doing this. And Kenrick is going to kill me if he finds out I said this live, but it's okay. We will love him to death.
I don't think he'll kill you. I think he'll just run you over with his dune buggy or something.
That's okay. That'd be kind of fun.
It might
It's not
be.
super heavy.
It might be.
I might be a little injured, but a little injury is okay. It's good for us every now and then.
Maybe we should have a podcast in the dune buggy.
Yeah. So,
Well, there's all those rails. We can just hang some microphones from the rails. It'll be okay.
yeah, and just hear brrr in the background the whole time.
It'll be fine.
That'd be great. Not distracting at all. So, I suppose we should get to biblical text at some point
I
in
reckon.
this podcast. So last Sunday, we went back to the Gospel of Matthew for the parable of the log and the speck. The reason I came to that one later, some people don't agree necessarily that it's a parable as much as just an illustration. But
What's the difference?
You know what? I'm not entirely sure. And I don't know who decides what exactly is parable and isn't parable, but I'm just talking about the biblical scholars who have more credentialing and are smarter than I am.
Should we ask someone smarter than us real quick and
Who?
read the answer? AI.
I thought you were going to have me call Dr. Fairchild and just put him on.
What is the difference between... Oh, good grief.
AI is unreliable.
What is the difference between a parable and a illustration? Okay, we have an answer.
Okay.
According to AI. Great question. They're similar, but there's an important difference. A parable is a short story with a spiritual or moral lesson, often using everyday situations to reveal a deeper truth. And parables are often narrative-based, and they are purposed to invite reflection and reveal truth through story and symbolism.
I would probably agree with that.
An illustration is a comparison, example, or image used to clarify or explain a point. It's used to make an idea clearer or more relatable. parable can be a type of illustration, but not all illustrations are parables. So
That's exactly what I was going to say.
So it sounds like every thumb is a finger, but not every finger is a thumb.
Yes.
Bingo.
So
parables are thumbs. You're welcome.
Yes. Parables or thumbs. That's all we have. No, not really. We went ahead on in that passage of Matthew chapter 7 all the way through verse 14 with Big Thumbus over here. And we hit a couple of these other ideas in there. The asking and seeking, or the seeking and finding piece. And then also the golden rule, treating others the way that you would want yourselves to be treated. And then verse 14 had a more important meaning that I kind of emphasized a little more. I'm going to find it again because I can't remember verbatim what it said. For the gate is narrow, and the way is hard that leads to life, and those who find it are few. And this is, again, entering by the narrow gate. The gate is wide, the way is easy that leads to destruction. For those who enter by it are many. But the gate is narrow, and the way is hard that leads to life, and those who find it are few. And I was really thankful. I feel like the Lord just gave some good provisions as I was talking through that, because this was stuff I didn't have written down necessarily, about the way, the direction, the steps to take. What are we supposed to do as Christians? How are we supposed to move forward? And I use this illustration at the beginning and then the end about basketball conditioning. When I was in high school, we would run these drills. I don't know if they call them suicides anymore because it's not, the most sensitive term to use for the thing. But
Could you call them wind sprints?
I don't know if we would call them that. One of my coaches nicknamed them fun runs, which is just
I feel like I might have heard that and not knowing what it was. And then we started doing them. I go, oh, this was just a joke. This is a suicide.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. So you start at the baseline, go to the free throw line, back, half court, back, free throw, back, full court, back. And the timer was set at 7.5 minutes on the first day. And then you'd have to run on zeros. You run 7 the first day. You trickle up a little bit. And our coach told us after that first day, we'd run 15 of them by the end of the second week. No way I thought that was possible. But by the time the second week came around, because I'd done a little bit and added a little more every day, as the rest of us did, they got easier, right? As we took those reps. So the point that I was making there was, okay, Lord, give me enough strength to take the next step. I can do 7. I might be able to do 8 or 9, but I can't get all the way to 15 today. What do you need me to do to get to 9? What do I need to do to take the necessary next step? And that was kind of the piece of it. And also reflecting back to the Great Commission, we are equipped by Jesus. We have the tools and the resources to go and to do. And a couple things that are always a gift from the Lord is a burdened or broken heart that really cares for the things he cares for, grieves over the things he grieves for. It can be a very good and holy thing. And also to have passion, to feel the weight of things, and to be inspired to go and do. That's one of my favorite things about you. You're a passionate guy. You care. You're always wanting to drive a direction, and I see some of that myself, certainly in Karen and many of our other people here. That's a gift. So, the sermon started with the judgment passage on righteous judgment, but came all the way back around. What are the steps we take in the faith that the Lord needs from us? And that was just a really fun passage for me as we were going through it. Did you have any thoughts or reflections on anything?
So I'll be honest. I listened to about the first quarter of it, and you might have noticed I got up and I walked away.
Oh, no, I didn't notice.
Because it was just a terrible, terrible sermon. No. I made an oopsie, and I printed the wrong lesson plans, and I needed to get up and get those printed. And so I sat out in the narthex and listened and was multitasking, doing 3 different things.
Yeah. So you were busy. But hey, I said faith is busy, and there you were, proving the point right in the middle of the sermon. So awesome job on that.
Plus, this is a very fast story. I was out there and I was setting stuff for the printer and I was listening and multitasking, and I heard a noise. I heard someone like stomping around near the doors. And I was like, what in the world? Like, what is going on? Who's here? Who's stomping around? There were no kids.
It was Pretzel.
It
My
wasn't.
dog.
It was not Pretzel.
Okay.
But that's a good guess. It ended up being Kylie with that giant box of candy. But I thought someone was trying to break into the church, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, here I am! Someone's breaking into the church, and I'm gonna be the first person to see this guy. Yay me!" It ended up being Kylie with a box of candy. It was fine,
Yeah.
But I was a little freaked out. I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's happening!" The one week I don't sit in the sanctuary near the front.
Assailant comes and gets you first.
I'm first. The one week I get up and don't listen to the sermon.
Awesome. So I have a story for you related to this off the air. Just remind me about it to tell you about it at the end. But
Or you can just tell me now and I can cut it out.
no, I'm not. Okay, I'll tell you now. But you have to cut it out. You can't. All right. So
Brad just told the most inappropriate story I've ever heard in my entire life.
He's full of it. You can ask me what the story was on Sunday, and then I'll clear the air. This Sunday, we are in the Gospel of John, chapter 10.
How do we fit inside the Gospel of John? Must be a really big Bible.
Ooh. Well, we can fit our brains and study inside of it metaphorically. I suppose, I don't know, my dog, Pretzel, if you put his brain in between a page, you could probably use it as a bookmark. He's just a puppy. Kind of smooth-brained feller. Anyway.
I've met this dog. He is a little smooth-brained.
Yeah, it's okay. He's getting better. He's actually the good dog. You know, he doesn't, like, vindictively behave. He just behaves the way he does because he's energetic and excited.
Opal is becoming vindictive.
Yeah, Cookie is vindictive. But off of vindictive, we're in John chapter 10 this week, verses 1 through 8 on the parable of the Good Shepherd.
Bah.
And I have to say, this particular passage is one of the most meaningful in all of Scripture that communicates how much God cares about people. And I don't want to preach through it right now, but it is a wonderfully lovely, beloved text that I personally feel a lot of joy and desire and just love for. And I'm looking forward to sharing that with all of you on Sunday.
Okay.
Got any good sheep stories?
Oh, I wish I did.
I didn't mean for the question to install sheer terror into you.
That was a pun.
Yeah, it was
Funny.
It was a little bit woolly, if I'll be honest.
Here he goes again. So I don't know the whole story, but if you guys want a good sheep story, you need to look up, and maybe you know this one, maybe you can tell it. The gist of the story is, oh wow, it's Adam. I wonder what he sent us.
This is my mentor pastor from back where I'm from.
Oh, Adam. We need to have him on. Anyway, sheep story. So what I remember is there's a sheep that got out and avoided getting shorn. And people reported seeing like a monster. This was over in Britain, I think.
Yeah, I heard about this.
And like there's this big...
It's the beast!
This big beastly looking thing wandering around the countryside in rural Britain or Ireland or Wales, I don't know where. But regardless, over across the pond, and they're like, this thing is terrifying. We got to kill this thing. And finally someone traps it or catches it. And they're like, it looks like a sheep. It hadn't been shorn in
Years.
and like wool, like when they sheared it off.
Some of it was matted and hardened, and it was huge.
Like this thick in places.
Yeah,
it was just
crazy.
a solid block of wool, and like the sheep should have died based on like how much like heat was being like kept inside the wool. Like it should have cooked the sheep like just existing because it was so thick and so insulating.
But it doesn't get as hot over there.
Yeah,
but yeah, theoretically he should have had some level of suffocation.
Cooked himself. But yeah, so here's a picture of the sheep. And sheeps have some scary eyes.
Yes. They're all like lines and stuff. Yep. And another thing about sheep, the Bible uses this illustration a lot. Sheep are very herd-minded. They tend to be sometimes stubborn. They tend to be difficult to gather. But humans are that way. Aren't we?
Yeah.
Aren't we stubborn and resistant and tough to gather? Ask our spouses how agreeable we always are. It's not all the time. You know, sometimes we're stubborn. Sometimes we don't always lay ourselves down the way we ought. And I think this illustration is beautiful for God's people because, again, the sheep are still the collective.
Mm-hmm.
They're not always self-seeking. They're usually very concerned about the collective. So the illustration is not always meant to be insulting. It's just another creature in nature that God created to help us understand ourselves and how we relate to him. And when you go to the passage about sheep and goats, in the Middle East, sheep and goats, when they're younger, tend to look kind of similar, depending on the breed. But when they get older, you're clearly able to see from behavior and look and makeup of it that, the goat is very self-seeking. It's very selfish. It's always, looking at what's best for itself, where the sheep do for the herd. So that's where that illustration comes in from a different scripture. But yeah, there's some of our Farming for Dummies livestock talk for the day.
I think next week we need to go on site to Jamie's little farm and do it in the middle of the goat pasture.
Oh,
with the goats walking around.
We'll have to talk to him about that.
Can we bring our podcast to your pasture and hang out with your goats?
I mean, he's the custodian. I wonder if he could just bring one of the French Alpines in here to sit down.
Are they that small?
No, they're pretty tall. They're almost like the size of a llama, some of them.
Ugh, that's scary.
Be awesome. Be chaotic. Kind of like the have you seen the YouTube videos of those two guys who are trying to make pancakes in their kitchen with a cow?
No.
It is just chaos. Absolute chaos. I'll have to show it to you after we're done.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm just really excited about this Good Shepherd passage. Thank you for coming on these rabbit trails with us as we...
we should get a giraffe in here.
Like a real one?
Yeah.
We could poke their head in through that window. We'd just have to take the frame out.
That's not hard.
Yeah.
Did you guys know that you can, like, every so often, there's a giraffe in, like, Monroe, right? Is that correct?
There is.
I thought
There's a livestock auction? We have an exotic livestock auction that happens not too far from Monroe. And there was a camel that sold at the last one for, like, $24,000.
I looked into the price of the giraffe, just like what it would cost. It's expensive.
How expensive? $80,000?
I want to say that buying just the animal by itself, on average, I want to say Google told me you can expect to pay anywhere from $18,000 to about $45,000 per giraffe.
That's a little less than I thought.
But like the building and the space required to house them indoors, you can't.
You got to build a tall building.
You can't have
you
just
got to
any
build
old
a 30-foot ceiling. Yeah.
You got to have a large building, and also, even if fine, I can afford to buy the giraffe, I can afford to feed it, I can afford to put it in a building. yeah, you go to the zoo, and for the most part, they're pretty gentle, and they're just la la la. I'm eating on the tree, la la la. I'm eating some lettuce, la la la. But what you don't see is like, it's like getting kicked by a horse, but way worse. If they kick you, like if a horse kicks you, you might go "Boo" for a while and have a brain injury. If a giraffe kicks you, you're probably gonna die.
Yeah.
Giraffes are much more dangerous than a horse.
Yes.
And so I said, well, I guess if my wife ever retires me, I'm not getting a giraffe. I guess I'll just get something else.
That sounds...
I don't want to get kicked in the head by my giraffe.
Yeah. And they got, a 30-foot neck they can use as a big battering ram on you. So stay away from giraffes, folks. It's a dangerous place out there, a dangerous world. Don't test the Lord your God with unwise things.
But a shark, I might get a shark. A small one. You can get sharks that are only like yay big.
Are you going to brush his teeth?
I just might. I'll use your fingers.
I think we've ran out of useful content for the day.
This is very useful content. People would love to hear about sharks. Right? If you like sharks, please like this post.
You just completely shoehorned that for your own benefit. Please like this post if you like sharks. He just made a straw man comment. Can't take you anywhere. You're the worst. You just drank some water and I made you laugh. Haha, I thought you were going to do the spit take thing. All right. Well, thank you for coming to the Cross Talk podcast. And thank you for tolerating us. Thank you for just being a part of our listening audience and our church. We love doing ministry here. We love serving Burn. And as always, may the Lord Jesus bless you and keep you and make his face shine upon you and give you peace today.
Be sure to drink your bologna.